PTE went through a huge change on August 7th, and one of the questions that changed dramatically was essay writing. There are quite a few things that changed in essay writing that may impact the way you prepare for your PTE test. And on top of that, Department of Home Affairs also changed the scoring requirement for superior English. It's not 79 in each band anymore. In writing especially, it is now 85. So the question is, are you ready to score 85 in PTE writing, especially to crack PTE essay writing after August 7th changes? Hi guys, this is Rashid and I'm from Ace Language. And in today's video, I will be focusing on one of the most anticipated topic of PTE Academic after August 7th, that is PTE Essay Writing. After the changes, some of the questions that are coming to your mind are, can I use template? If so, which template is working? Can I still use only some of the keywords and score well? Do I need to really use good vocabularies these days? What are the number of words that I should write to get a good score in PTE essay writing? If your mind is riddled with these questions, then yes, this video is for you. So stay tuned till the end of the video and you will learn whether you should be using template, and if so, which one, how to use that particular template if you are using it, and of course you will also learn what are the other things you should do to address these changes. So for your convenience, I'll let you know that there are 4 sections in this video. Number 1, I will show you what are the changes, especially in the marking criteria. Number 2, I will show you the structure I used in my exam on 7th August that gave me a solid 90. Number 3, I will show you how I will implement them, that is, how I will answer them with 2 examples. And number 4, I will discuss about how you can prepare for your own PTE test, especially for essay writing. So without further ado, let's jump into my screen sharing and see my presentation so that you can prepare for your PTE essay writing in the right way. All right, let's now look at the screen. You can see that the thing that remains unchanged is that there will still be 2 question types in your PTE Academic writing module. First one is summarize written text and second one is essay. And you can see there is a significant difference from the previous situation where you used to get around 17 to 19% of your score coming from essay on your writing. From now on it will be 30.8%. That means the contribution from the essay writing on the writing module will be huge, practically doubled without increasing the number of questions. Now, this is going to be the screen. There is obviously some changes. The cut, copy, paste will be in here, as well as undo. And this is the question where you will be able to, sorry, this is the instruction panel. And this is the question. And as usual, you will write your answer in here. You'll have the timer in here and the word count will be in here. Right, and some of the basics that we need to know, that yes, we have to write an academic essay and we will be allowed to write an essay in 20 minutes, and you need to write the essay will be within 200 to 300 words. That remains unchanged. Now previously there were instructions from Pearson that you would have gotten 1 or 2 questions, but now it's fixed. You will get only 1 question, and you already know the score will be 30.8% of your entire writing module. The marking criteria, and there are quite a few changes. First and foremost, you can see that there are changes in content. It used to be 3, now it will be 6. The change in content reflects the fact that you now need to write about your relevant ideas and content properly. That means you need to address your topic properly. You can't just simply use keywords anymore For example, if the question says, the importance of using mobile phone, you need to say properly the importance of using mobile phone in current days or current era, rather than just saying mobile phone and keep on repeating mobile phone, mobile phone, mobile phone everywhere, right? This is not okay. And another part of the content is your relevancy of the idea. Just saying there are some advantages of using mobile phone is not an idea. You need to tell why there are some advantages, or what are the advantages, or how there is an advantage, and then you have to back it up with supporting idea and give relevant examples. Now, how do you do that? Always use the keywords from the question, but also you need to ensure that the ideas reflect the topic. For example, if you are talking about the advantages of using mobile phone, you can say that mobile phones allow users to communicate easily. That's the main idea here. Communicate easily. Now, in your supporting idea or explanation, you need to focus on how this communication can happen. You can simply say, with the help of mobile phones, users can simply call, or give them a voice call or video call and talk to the nears and dears, or loved ones or relatives all around the world, which makes the communication between family members quite convenient. Here I am telling how this communication can be done. So our main idea should be there, which tells me simply what are the advantages or disadvantages or causes or problems or solutions or effects, and explanation should explain on that particular idea. That, all right, I can communicate easily. How can I communicate easily? I can give them a call, I can initiate a video chat, and this way I can establish communication. And in the example, I should give an example. For example, I can use WhatsApp as an app and create groups, family groups, and give them a group video call to connect with family members living in different parts of the world. This is my example. So we always need to think about our ideas, our supporting ideas and examples in a very coherent way, and reflect upon each of them. Whatever I am giving as my main idea or writing down as my main idea must be explained properly in my supporting idea, and then an example must be presented to prove that point. This is how you score 6 out of 6 in content. Now, you need to remember one thing, that the essay will be double checked by human. However, human will not double check the content. So you do not need to come up with very high level, high thought out ideas. Rather, you can come up with simple ideas, but as long as they are quite relevant, you are good. And remember, do not simply use the keywords, use the topic properly. And we'll see the example of that in this video. Next is format or form, which used to be 2, still is 2. There is no change. So if you write between 200 to 300 words, you get 2. If you write between 120 to 199 or 301 to 380, you get 1. If you write below 120 or over 380, you get 0. And if you get 0 in format, you are supposed to get a 0 in your essay. Now, there is one question though. A lot of students ask me that what is the ideal number of words that I should write to get a good score in PTE. My answer is very simple. Write anything below 300, anything above 200. In my exam, I wrote about 240 words. I will just ask you to write in between 240 to 260. Don't go beyond that unless you are very confident with your spelling. It's better to write a bit less and not make spelling errors if you worry that there will be a chance of making spelling errors if you write more, right? Next is development, structure and coherence. It used to be 2 points or 2 marks. Now it will be 6. and this will be human checked. What does it mean by development, structure, and coherence? I'm not going through what Pearson actually explained because that's kind of like a lot of bookish word. I'll just simply say whenever you are writing sentences or paragraphs, make sure that the ideas or the sentences flow smoothly. And one way to ensure that they flow smoothly is to use connectors properly, or the joiners, or also known as discourse markers. For example, you are giving an example, you can use the word for example as an illustration to demonstrate. This indicates the system that you actually are right. What are you actually writing? In the same way, if you're writing something opposing to the previous paragraph, you can start with on the other hand, nevertheless, however, this way. So you will see that on my structure, I have used them in the right way, in the right places. So you can simply follow that. Next is grammar. It used to be 2 and it will still be 2, so there is no changes in it. Next is general linguistic range, and there is a big change, so please pay attention here. In general linguistic range, you used to have 2, now you will have 6. That's number 1 change. Number 2 change is that human evaluator will now check your general linguistic range. What does it mean by general linguistic range? I'll make it very simple, right? General linguistic range actually means using of relevant vocabularies in a smooth way. That is, it doesn't mean that you have to use very difficult words. You need to use relevant words, but they need to be academically very good vocabularies. So to prepare for this particular general linguistic range marking criteria, we have some tricks up on our sleeves, and we'll discuss about it at the end of the video. But just so you know, you can't simply use simple words and expect good score in your PTE test anymore. Now, I know a lot of coaching would, a lot of people would put their difficult or very good words on the template itself or a structure itself. That's not something I will recommend, because my experience is if I use those words on the template or in the template, to be honest, what happens at the end of the day, my linguistic range is not well presented, and as the human will check this one, they will notice it. They will notice that my ideas are not written with good vocabularies, right? For those of you who are wondering what's the difference between general linguistic range and vocabulary range, which is the next one, which used to be 2 and still remains 2, I will just simply say whatever vocabulary we are using in the structure will cover you for the vocabulary range. But those vocabularies will not cover you for general linguistic range. So please pay attention to your general linguistic range and stay tuned till the end of the video to know the trick. And at the end we have spelling. Spelling is very important, especially in writing. So how it works is if you write all the words correct, you get 2 out of 2. If you make one spelling error, you lose 1 mark. And if you make 2 spelling errors, you lose both of the marks. That's why I said, rather than writing, let's say, 299 words and making like more than 2 spelling mistakes, write less, make less spelling mistakes. And that's the same reason I will always recommend you to have 2 minutes at the end of your whole writing. That means you need to complete your essay writing within 18 minutes so that you can actually give a revision of the whole essay very carefully to make sure that you did not make any spelling mistake. Now, enough of this marking criteria. I'll just tell you how to master your PTE essay writing. First of all, understand the prompt. That is, understand the question. In the question, make sure you identify the keywords and the topic so that you can, at the end of the day, write about your question properly in your answer. How to identify keywords and topic, I'll make a whole different video about that at a later stage. I'm just quickly making this video because I'm receiving a lot of message from a lot of test takers who are expected to take their test very soon and are requesting me to post a video about how to use any good template or how to use any template in the good way to get a score. And then question type. There are different question types. There are categories and subcategories, and how we can prepare with these categories and subcategories, we'll discuss it at the end of the video. And rewriting the template, you need to know how to rewrite your rewriting the prompt, how you need to know how to rewrite the question, maintaining the keywords. And main ideas, always make sure you generate at least 2 main ideas, and supporting ideas must be followed by the main ideas, and must follow the question of the must follow the topic of the main idea. You need to remember that bit. And use of a structure, you can use any structure. Do not use a fixed template. The one I will show you can certainly use that, but I will recommend you to modify it here and there so that you are not flagged for copying. Right, now let's move. I have divided all the essays I've analyzed in very much details, and I found out that all the essays can be categorized into 2 groups. One is opinion based essay, and in this group we can have advantage disadvantage type of essays, argumentative essays, agree disagree, personal preference or opinion based essays. And another type of essay I found very prevalent is situation based essay. In this type of essay I have put all the problem solution types of essays, cause and effect types of essays. Again, it's a discussion of another day of how I identify what types of essays. What we did is, after analyzing more than 85 essay questions, I have divided them into these 2 broad categories, and that is available for our ACE language students to use. Unfortunately, I will not make it public. That's only for our students. Now let's move on. The template. This is the introduction that I'm gonna suggest you. I mean, this is the type of introduction I'll suggest you. I will always recommend you that you make your necessary edits or changes. You are more than welcome to write your own version and send it over to us at info@acepte.com.au, so that we can, if you need, actually we can help you modify that in the right way. So if you look at the template here, I will explain how am I going to use. So I'm going to start with, in recent years, the issue of. So again, you can see what am I writing here, full topic from the question. I'm not saying just keywords, right? Full topic needs to be addressed here. Remember that, and we'll see the example of that later on. Has gained a considerable amount of attention. That's my first sentence. There are various factors associated with this topic. So I'm using a bit of a neutral tone here, factors, because I know it can be different types of essays. So I'm not specifying anything here. In this essay, both positive and negative sides. So if you are writing an argumentative essay, you're going to use that. Problem and solutions. If you're writing a problem solution type of essay, you'll use that. Causes and effects. If you're writing a cause and effect essay, you will use that. Of the topic, here you don't need to reiterate the full topic. Here you can shorten the topic or paraphrase the topic your way and use it. Will be thoroughly examined before reaching to a reasonable conclusion. So that's my introduction. Next is, in my body paragraph 1, I'm going to start with at the outset. That is, I'm starting something new. Critics of main topic or problem or causes. This tells you that I'm going to talk about problem or causes in this paragraph in the problem solution type of essay. Often highlight several drawbacks or problems or causes, whichever you are writing. So if I'm writing an argumentative essay, that indicates that in this paragraph I'm going to write about the negative side or the opposing view or the drawbacks. Problems or causes, one key fact being that here I'm going to put my main idea 1. Main idea 1 will reflect my main topic, that why am I saying that this why is very important, why or what or how. So if I'm saying using mobile phone has benefits, I need to tell why it has benefit or what is the benefit, right? And then I'm gonna say this is especially evident in situations where I'm putting my explanation or supporting idea. Here I am reflecting on my main idea. If I have said what is the benefit, I need to say how I can get that benefit. For instance, a major study conducted by here, I'm going to use any world-renowned authority. For example, it can be World Health Organization, it can be United Nations, it can be, you need to understand what you're writing, right? So if it is related to health and environment, you can use World Health Organization. With anything related to finance or economics, you can use IMF, or you can use World Bank, or in any simple issues you can use United Nations. You can also use the name of some universities, like I quite often like to use University of Sydney. I don't know why I have that preference, but I do. Reported that example that supports your main idea one. Here you need to reflect on that explanation. So remember that example. I'm saying using mobile phone has some benefits. One of them is easier communication. Explanation, in explanation I'm saying I can call and group chat and video chat easily with my family members living around the world. In the example, I'm saying, all right, I can use one particular software like WhatsApp on my mobile to create a family group and connect with them straight away. Now, this is a continuation. This is what we call coherence. Remember that. Hence, the drawbacks or problems or causes, whatever I have written, if it is problem solution as I'm going to use problem, if it is benefits and drawbacks, I'm going to use drawbacks, of main topic or problem or cause should be taken into account with caution. So that's my body 1. Now let's look at body paragraph 2. In body paragraph 2, I'm starting by saying, nevertheless, experts have come up with several benefits or solutions or effects based on what type of essay you are writing of the main idea or topic or problem or causes. But the most significant one is now my main idea 2. When you are writing main idea 2, remember the principle we learned in body paragraph 1. This is highly relevant in the context of explanation of main idea 2. Again, remember the principle of writing explanation from body paragraph 1. As an illustration, attention should be drawn to example that supports your main idea, which undisputedly shows the benefits or solutions or effects of the topic. These examples suggest that my topic will come here, can yield considerable benefits. That is, if I'm writing a two-sided or argumentative essay, or can be tackled effectively if I'm writing a problem solution or cause and effect essay when executed or addressed properly. So if I'm writing considerable benefits, I'm going to use executed. If I'm writing tackled effectively, I'm going to use addressed. Right? Hopefully that makes it clear. Now let's look at the conclusion. In conclusion, what we have to do is to come up with a balanced conclusion, right? For that, I'm writing this way. In conclusion, as both sides of the topic have been thoroughly evaluated in the essay, it must be admitted that the issue, if I'm going to write an argumentative essay, or if I'm writing an argumentative essay, I'm going to say presents both challenges and opportunities. If I'm writing a problem solution essay, I'm going to say has both problems and solutions. If I'm writing a cause and effect essay, I'm going to say shows both causes and effects. Therefore, a balanced approach, one that acknowledges the risks while maximizing. If it is an argumentative essay, I'm going to write maximizing. If it is a problem solution or cause and effect essay, I'm going to say finding the. If I'm writing maximizing, then benefits. If I'm writing finding, I'm going to write solutions may offer the most constructive way forward. Right? So this is the structure I used, and this is something you can take as a sample, but make sure you actually modify it according to your need or your way. Okay, so now that you have seen the structure that I am recommending you to use, or you can actually use, now we will jump into that PowerPoint again, and we will see the solutions of two essays, one argumentative and one problem solution, so that we know how to use it in our real test. Let's take a look at this question. The question says, the information revolution has changed the way of mass communication and had some bad and good effects on individuals' lives as well as on society. To what extent do you agree or disagree? First of all, if I analyze the question, I can clearly see it's an agree-disagree question, or benefits, drawbacks, or simply put, an argumentative question. And here, the topic is how information revolution has changed mass communication. So a lot of people think it is about mass communication, but it is actually about the way we used mass communication. It has changed, right? And in this change, we had something good and something bad, both on individual and society. We will now see how we can address this question. So you can see my introduction says, in recent years, the issue of the information revolution, you can see how I'm addressing the topic properly here, and its impact. So here I'm starting to change, right? I cannot really write the question exactly as is. Wherever it will be possible for me to change, I will change. And its impact, instead of changed, I'm just saying impact on mass communication, has gained a considerable amount of attention. There are various factors associated with this transformation. Now you can see my vocab is kicking in. I am using transformation instead of change. This essay in this essay, both positive and negative sides of the changes in mass communication will be thoroughly examined before reaching to a reasonable conclusion. As it is an argumentative essay, I'm using positives and negative sides. Right, now I'm going to my introduction, my body one. It says at the outset, critics of the growing influence of digital communication. So now I'm trying to rephrase. So instead of mass communication, I'm saying digital communication, because we are talking about information revolution, right? Often highlight several drawbacks. Now we are talking about drawbacks. One key fact being it reduces the quality of interpersonal relationships. I think you will all agree that with the way the communication is happening these days, we are not very good at face-to-face communication. So that's what I'm addressing. Reduces the quality of interpersonal relationships. This is especially evident in situations where people prefer online interaction over face-to-face communication, leading to isolation and reduced empathy. You can see how my explanation is actually reflecting this fact that it reduces interpersonal relationship because we do not prefer face-to-face communication anymore. Right? For instance, a major study conducted by the World Health Organization reported that excessive reliance on digital platform has linked to rising level of loneliness and anxiety among common adults. Young adults. Now take a look at here. Here I said leading to isolation and reduced empathy. So this isolation is actually leading me to say it creates loneliness and anxiety. So this is the relationship between my supporting idea and my example. Hence, the drawbacks of the digital mass communication should be taken into account when with caution. Nevertheless, experts have come up with several benefits of the information revolution, but the most significant one is its ability to democratize information and enhance global awareness. So now I'm writing about positive thing of this mass revolution or information revolution. As you can see, I am not using the full topic here anymore because I don't need to. I'm using part of the topic, and I'm saying its ability to democratize information and enhance global awareness. So this is my main idea. This is highly relevant in the context of remote education. So I'm talking about democratize information, and yes, remote education is part of that democratizing of education. Real-time news update. That real-time news update reflects on that global awareness, as we can understand, and social activism made possible by digital tools. Now, digital tools is of course part of my information revolution. So you can see how each part is relevant to another part. As an illustration, attention should be drawn to the use of social media during natural disasters. So I'm talking about how we can give this real-time update. I'm giving an example of that via social media, which helps spread crucial updates instantly, which undisputedly shows the benefits of the information revolution. These examples suggest that digital mass communication can yield considerable benefits. I'm not using the other part. I'm using yield considerable benefit because it's an argumentative essay when executed properly. In conclusion, as both sides of the information revolution have been thoroughly evaluated in the essay, it must be admitted that the issue presents both challenges and opportunities. Therefore, a balanced approach, one that acknowledges the risks while maximizing the benefits, may offer the most constructive way forward. A very simple way to write an essay. So what I did, simply rephrased my main topic a few times, used part of my main topics in different places, and then came up with one simple idea, elaborated it, gave an example, and then again another simple idea to support the point, elaborated it, and gave an example. Now, let's take a look at a problem solution question. So the question says, shortage of fresh water in urban centers is a major issue. What are the causes and possible solutions? Right? Very simple, shortage of fresh water. Now, let's take a look. In recent years, the issue of fresh water shortage in urban centers has gained a considerable amount of attention. Simple. There are various factors associated with this urban water crisis. So I'm just now talking about the crisis because it's a problem. In this essay, both causes and solutions, you can see that I have modified a bit because it's not really talking about the problems and solutions. Question has asked me the causes and asked me to give a solution of the freshwater shortage will be thoroughly examined before reaching to a reasonable conclusion. At the outset, critics of the urban planning and infrastructure failure. So I cannot really directly say that water shortage or freshwater shortage, right? Critics are not critiquing freshwater shortage; they're actually criticizing why there is a failure, often highlight several causes. One key fact being that rapid urbanization places immense pressure on existing water resources. So what is the problem? Problem is, what is the cause? My bad. The cause is rapid urbanization. It is putting pressure on our water resources. This is especially evident in situations where cities expand faster than their ability to develop sustainable water supply systems. So it's very simple. Let's say if we talk about Sydney, it has grown so much so fast that we are struggling with resources, or we are struggling with lots of infrastructure. One of them maybe not be in Sydney, but it may be some other parts of the world, that water supply system. For instance, a major study conducted by the United Nations Water Agency reported that over 1 billion city dwellers, 1 billion, I'm giving an example, experience water scarcity due to unregulated urban growth. So see how it is reflecting one thing: expand faster, rapid urbanization, and that's what I'm saying. They are unregulated urban growth and mismanagement. Hence, the cause of urban water shortages should be taken into account with caution. Now, I'm giving a solution. Nevertheless, experts have come up with several solutions to this issue, but the most significant one is investment in water recycling and rainwater harvesting technology. Now I'm saying, okay, look, water resources are in short supply, so I need to invest in water recycling and rainwater harvesting. I need to use rainwaters and recycle the waters. This is highly relevant in the context of cities where several new natural water sources are drying up or polluted. Of course, if your natural water sources are like rivers or canals or reservoirs, they can be drying up because of the overuse, or they can be polluted in many places of the world. So that's where we need recycling. Rather than putting them back again into the source, we can recycle. As an illustration, attention should be drawn to Singapore's Newater project, which undisputedly shows the benefits of advanced water treatment and reuse. Now, here I obviously used an example that I know about. Doesn't mean that you have to. You can just write anything that comes up in your mind. These examples suggest that urban water crisis can be tackled effectively. So I'm using my I'm using my topic, urban water crisis, then saying this bit can be tackled effectively when addressed properly. In conclusion, as both sides of the urban water shortage problem has been thoroughly evaluated in this essay, it must be admitted that the issue has both causes and solutions. I know it's not the most ideal thing to say or write, but in order to generalize, we have to rely on that. Therefore, a balanced approach, one that acknowledges the risks while finding sustainable solutions, may offer the most constructive way forward. Now, that's how I write a problem solution essay. Now that you know how to write an essay and use a template or a structure properly, it is time you know how you prepare. First and foremost, analyze a lot of PTE repeated essay questions and divide them into subcategories or categories. For our ACE language students, I divided them into two major categories. Under them, there are other subcategories. This way, you will be able to determine what type of template or structure you need to use in your exam. Number one. Number two, practice how to paraphrase your main idea, main topic, and keywords. But do not overdo it so that the meaning is changed. Number three, you must improve your vocabulary and you need to use some advanced vocabularies. But you also need to ensure you are using the relevant one. Again, analyze the question type and divide them into topics, not categories. Now you're going to divide them into topics. For our students, I have analyzed more than 80 questions and divided them into 8 broad categories, and then generated quite a few vocabularies relevant to those topics. For our students, I actually came up with 5 vocabularies for each topic. That means they can use that 5 vocabularies to in different question types or in different questions to improve their level of vocabulary or general linguistic range. And last but not least, create your own structure. There is nothing wrong to use if you use a structure, but make sure you write relevant main ideas and main topics. Do not blindly follow any template. Now, if you are preparing by yourself, make sure that you are writing with right spelling, right grammar, and also your template is up to the mark. You can simply send it to us on info@acepte.com.au. One of our expert teachers will help you check that out. Now, if you are thinking about whether you should use the old templates, old ways, using simple keywords, my straightforward answer is no. You know that now you need 85 in writing in order to secure your superior English skill point, that is 20 peer points. So it's worth the effort. Trust me, guys, it's worth the effort. So please make the effort, try and write a proper essay. It's gonna make a huge difference. If you liked this video, please like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next one. Thank you.